So I'm going to start by recording the post I uploaded today about social media, emotional intelligence, and a growth mindset. How they were wrapped up together in this particular post. Social media is, in all its various guises, new to me. I tried out Instagram for the first time properly yesterday and quickly realized what may look okay on LinkedIn, or in fact may not, but definitely does not look okay on Instagram. So I did a bit of DIY design and editing work, which is certainly a work in progress. And if anybody does have any advice for either LinkedIn or Instagram, do feel free to share or just follow, as that will make me feel far less alone, particularly out on Instagram. Living in China for nearly 20 years and not engaging with social media had lots of upsides. But when it comes to this particular part of the venture, I'm somewhat lacking in social media contacts. But anyway, all of this is part of owning my role as now what I refer to as me being an advocate, an educator for growing a life. And this is part of establishing that within me, and then slowly establishing 22 Beyond as a respected education center. I mean, in fact, it's all part really of just growing a life, which I've been doing, really since I, consciously made the decision to leave school all those years ago. Growing a life is in this context is knowing where you are or where I am, showing up, it's projecting forwards, it's trying new things, it's being brave, it's public facing for the first time. And it's accepting, what I referred to above as really the invisibility, in fact, for now, of what that means. And looking to and learning from others, asking questions, and being inspired and looking to be inspired as well. Most importantly, growing a life as I define it, which is controlling and directing your life in ways meaningful to you, is proving itself once again really here to be almost an a priori good. And what I mean by that is it just in itself makes life better, and it makes it it helps create a sort of more interesting and potentially exciting future that doesn't seem to have an end when you're growing your life, because you're in stages, you're moving to the next stage, you're dealing with the here and now, but you've got an eye moving forward, none of which should be destabilizing. The idea being that you are at peace in where you are, no matter the level or degree of development, in relation to where you would like to be, but you're in peace at that time. But you very much know there's a point forward to move towards. And we keep working on the skills and qualities that allow this to be the case, allow this to be directed forward, and to be okay with the here and now. And that does take work. There are a lot of skills and qualities within that I'll go into in more depth. But again, just now, I'm calling upon those. And it's obviously 22 Beyond, and what we offer will be there to help people with those skills and qualities. Emotional intelligence, including emotional agility. And I particularly like Susan David's work on this, although there are plenty of others. And a growth mindset are central components to growing a life. There is no doubt about that in my mind, and they will certainly make up aspects of the courses I'll be running. But for now, it's actually good, again, just to acknowledge them in action, in where I'm experiencing them through this process. There is a good degree of emotional intelligence that goes into this sort of, what is that, earlier social media presence evolution stage. There is the need to be aware of thoughts and emotions that come up. the expectations and the hopes, as well as the sources of motivation that that keep people going, keep me going, and the need to manage those. Always that need. And there is also the need for increasing social awareness, to be aware of the wants and emotional needs of others. And this is hard, not because necessarily any of us don't have degrees of empathy, but everybody is different. And when you have your own project and you have your own work, and you have your own origin story, it's not as easy then to see the wider stories of others, and it's a transition. So the empathy that is needed there to relate and build messages, content, and courses in my context, that speak to those, and that is a significant next step for me, and will continue to take work and further understanding, especially as I lived overseas for so long, that it takes time and to really understand where people are, and the whole point of any of this is to speak to people from to the space where they are now. So, as I say, that is a work in progress, and very much a part of emotional intelligence, and continuing to be aware of the aspects and qualities of those that need to be paid attention to or developed. And there's also the components of a growth mindset that not only underpin this evolution of developing, a social media presence, but also underpin aspects of emotional intelligence. There is the necessity to be persistent in the face of different setbacks that may come along, small or large. The ability to enjoy, or even to be enthused by the challenges that come up, and and this is not something that's a given. It's not saying that we should all just have those immediately. A growth mindset is something that grows. It evolves, and in different contexts, we will feel greater and lesser degrees of any of the components of it. But it is important to recognize and want to face those challenges, whatever they are, and whatever decisions we've taken to move towards something. At the same time, being confident, or directed, as I say, enough to seek out experts who can help you. And not being overawed by that, not feeling inadequate by that, not feeling frustrated or jealous by any of those things. Just to know that you know where you want to go. You don't know certain things now, and others do, and it's worth asking them. And there's, of course, it's just ongoing work and effort that will obviously be necessary in the process. And this needs to be maintained over time in the face of what may be difficult feedback, or slower growth than one might like. Even though in my situation I am taking a very measured long-term approach to it, there's of course things that you would like to be better than they are at a certain time, and it's just accepting those and recognizing the continued work and effort that needs to move those things forward in a balanced way. And it's certainly, it's a work in progress. But anybody that is committed or caught up in growing their life, you don't want it any other way. To have something to be looking forward to in the here and now of your life, and to be, guided and directed forward towards something, it just feels good. Why I refer to it as being an a priori good, because it just feels good when you are growing your life. And this is not to say that many of these things are just not easy, or even just make you happy necessarily. It's just, it can be difficult. There can be, sadnesses and upsets and since feelings of demotivation and all the other things, but that is part of it, and it's recognizing that is part of it. Just the mere fact you're in the process of growing and building something towards something, whatever it is, just in my opinion, and I have a strong opinion about this, it feels good. So I ended the post there. I just wish everybody good luck. And I include myself in that. Take care for now, and speak more soon.